Vols are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! That is by Tennessee to one Jennings. Jennings makes We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. You found a way, okay? All right, now, what I tell you, okay? All right, this decade is going to be the decade of the Vols. You got it?
Reddit did to do and welcome in the more important issues. It is Sunday, October 11th. I'll say it. Fine, I'll say it. That intro really hurt today.
It did hurt.
It stung a little bit. I take it personal because I'm a Vol fan. I saw a couple tweets last night where people were like, I got to the point I don't take it personal anymore. It doesn't ruin my night. Well, you're a better man than me.
Yeah, especially like 8 in a row, you got used to winning.
Yeah, I went home sad, cried in the shower, cried myself to sleep. I was like, the Vols are back. They're not. They're not back.
No.
I'm sorry. No, not back to the expectations that Tennessee fans and the Tennessee athletic director and hopefully the athletic department and I would assume Jeremy Pruitt and the coaching staff expects Tennessee to be at. Not quite back to where they should be. And you know, good for Tennessee to go beat the people they should beat. You get a hopefully an easier test this week to kind of make sure you're where you think you are, beating the teams you should beat. But man, that gap at Georgia is still just, I don't know where it's at, I'll be honest. It's obviously not close like everyone maybe thought it could be before going into this game, but I don't know where it's at.
Yeah, I think we all, like, if we really looked into everything, we'd probably be like, yeah, there's still a gap. Now,
There's definitely a gap.
yeah, and how big was that gap? People were hoping it wasn't as big as it was in the second half yesterday.
I don't think the talent gap is as big as the game made it seem to be. I think we hurt ourselves. You asked me on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. You asked me, you said, what would you do if you look at this Georgia defense and you go, there's not a
weakness.
A weakness. That's the word I'm looking for. There's not a weakness to him. What would you do? I said, run the ball. Do what you got to do what you do best. And if they beat you, stand up and shake their hand and move on. And a lot of people are going to go, well, Caleb did try and they rushed for -1 yard. No, they didn't. The sacks make it look like -1 yard. That's what makes it. Before that, I mean, but we ran the ball. Between Eric Gray and Kyle Chandler, we ran the ball 16 times.
Yep.
You never gave it a chance. You never gave it a chance. When Eric Gray ran off tackle, they had trouble stopping him.
Yeah, I think they, like, if they see something's, like, not working, they tend to just go away from it and never go back to it.
Absolutely, and we'll really get into it when we get into the show and the whooping that Landon so elegantly put it, and that hurt when he sent that text message this morning. He said, "You want to talk about the whooping?" I guess we'll have to. We're going to, and you know what? We'll try to make it as fun as possible because I know we're not here to bring you down. That's not it.
Yeah, a lot of people say we're negative Vols. I feel like we're.
Do people think we're negative? Yeah, I guess they do. We got that accusation Wednesday.
Yes, because we didn't pick Georgia. We picked Georgia to beat Tennessee.
Right.
Which.
That's probably why Tennessee lost. Come on, man.
Yeah.
If you hadn't picked them,
right? Yeah.
You, not me.
The one time I picked somebody right, they end up winning.
Yeah, we did get that accusation. You're right. I mean.
I feel like we're a good mix.
I'm obviously too high on the Vols in terms of what I thought Saturday could be. So,
yep,
I'll say it. I expected. I thought the offense looked a lot better, and I said that I thought if I thought it would take JG playing really good to beat Georgia, but that was the assumption that everybody else would play good.
Yeah,
because he didn't play terrible. He didn't play good. But he didn't play god-awful.
In the first half, you can't ask for anything
Oh,
more
no.
than
That pass, one of the passes, Josh Palmer wasn't fantastic, but you gave Josh Palmer a chance.
Yeah.
He took advantage of it. The second one to him, phenomenal catch from Josh Palmer, but a phenomenal throw from JG.
breadbasket.
Absolutely. So, yeah, in the first half, which, I mean, the offense didn't play fantastic, but they played pretty good in the first half. Unfortunately, you know, we talked about it at halftime. We were like, man, we did not play good. And you're up. Because you made the stands when it mattered, and that's big. And the offense scored when they needed to, and when they got short yardage situations or short field situations, and they made it count. But not a great first half, and you just were not able to fix it in the second half.
Yep.
In fact, it got worse.
Right.
Georgia did a lot of fixing, and Tennessee did not.
Yep.
So we'll talk. We'll get into it. We are going to obviously
The
talk
score
about
just makes me like want to throw up.
the score's bad, and it makes the defense look bad. And I'm not going to sit here and say the defense played lights out, but they played good.
Yeah, I think they played good enough to give you a chance to win.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely get into that, and we'll get into what the defense maybe could have done better, and definitely what the offense could have done better. We're going to talk about the Georgia game, talk about the good, the bad, the ugly from it, and some things that really need to improve. Who impressed for us? We're also going to do a college football recap. That's from all the games in college football. Got some high school highlights for you. And a familiar name in there this week, not from East Tennessee. We've also got some questions. If you have any questions right now, if you didn't get them to us before the show started, drop them in the chat. I'm pulling up YouTube right now. I'm sure we've got a bunch of nice Georgia fans over here on YouTube. They're always super courteous. And then I've also got Twitter, and Landon's got Facebook. If we don't get to your question right away, no big deal. We'll definitely get to it before the show's over. So stick with us, and we'll answer those. You ready to get going? Just about?
Yeah, check out our sponsors, Tennessee Tap House, Hound Dogs, and Blue Water Climate Control. Blue Water Climate Control is going to give away 40 free furnaces in the months of October and November. So be sure to check them out and see how you can win those free furnaces. And any HVAC needs you might come in contact with, please go reach out to our good friends at Blue Water Climate Control. Let's do it. Let's get into it. Let me start with this. What's your first, if you had to like summarize like what your reaction is, what is it? Right now, after the game.
Yuck.
Yuck.
That's my initial reaction. I'll think about it a little bit more, and I'm displeased in the team as a whole. Mm-hmm. I think from top to bottom, I think you got outcoached. I think you got outplayed, and I think they didn't play a good first half, and then they fixed it in the second half. You didn't play a good first half. Sure, you're up, and that's awesome, but you didn't fix it in the second half.
No. I think my thing is you got whooped.
Yeah.
I mean, and pretty much in the second half is where you really saw it. Like you said, they fixed everything at halftime. But I think a lot of our mistakes were self-inflicted.
A lot of your mistakes were self-inflicted.
And so with this game, like stuff that you caused, you can fix.
I mean, when you look at some of their offensive drives, so when they were doing some good offensive stuff, you bailed them out. Let's start early in the game with DeAndre Johnson, and that everyone should be able to recognize, even Georgia fans, that should not have been an ejection. But by the rule book, it is. And you did something stupid and gave the ref a chance to throw you out. It's unacceptable. You made a mistake that was inexcusable, and you got yourself thrown out, and that was obviously a key factor in the game.
Yeah, just dumb.
Very dumb. You bailed them out. It would have been 3rd and 9. They hadn't moved the ball before that at all. And then they go down and score a touchdown on that drive.
Yep, you just headbutted them. Yeah, a lot of self-inflicted wounds that I think you could fix, but I think you look at it today and you move on to Kentucky. I mean, you watch film, you know what you got to fix, go fix it. I think the game Saturday showed there's a huge gap with Alabama, Georgia, and I think it's kind of everybody else in the SEC.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Georgia,
you can probably lump Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Auburn. Maybe Florida's a little bit ahead of those three teams.
I think Florida is just because of the offense. I know they lost A&M last week, and I think A&M played it, or last week, this week. And I know A&M played a pretty good game if you got to watch it. But they also, nobody looked clean. You knew Florida's defense looked bad in week 1. Looked not great in week 2, especially the first half of week 2 against South Carolina. And then this week, I mean, A&M's not South Carolina, and they're not Ole Miss. Their offensive firepower isn't even Ole Miss, but they they made Florida's defense not look great.
Right.
So I knew they weren't going to be Florida wasn't going to be a top tier team because of that. But yeah, they're probably it's probably Georgia. You mentioned Georgia and Alabama, and that second tier. Florida's probably alone, I think, right now because Auburn should have lost to Arkansas.
Yep.
And then yeah, I agree with you that you could probably lump Tennessee. Thankfully, probably is in there with Auburn, A&M, maybe at the bottom of that group, but they're probably in that group.
Yep.
I think you still have a really, really good chance of splitting that game, those games.
I think you like besides maybe Alabama, I think every game on your schedule is winnable.
I like to think so too. If your offense doesn't take advantage of, and I realize again, you look at it, you go, all right, Georgia's defense is probably the best defense in the nation.
Yeah, you'll never play another defense like that.
Right, but Florida's definitely going to be talented.
Oh yeah.
Now, maybe some coaching problems, but they're definitely going to be talented. So if your offense can't manage to produce, Florida's offense is going to produce plenty, even against Tennessee's defense looked good at times, pretty good the whole game.
Yeah.
Yesterday, but they're still going to score. They look. I told you they might be one of the best offenses in the country. I mean, and you're talking about the SEC where Alabama scores 63 points last night. Ole Miss scores a lot, and then you've got A&M in that group. Obviously, they kept pace with Florida. And then the good Mississippi State. I mean, it's hard to score 2 points in a game. That's only the best coaches in the country can do that.
Right. So let's start with the problem. What was the problem last night?
The problem, I think, man, I know a bunch of people don't want to throw it on the offensive coaching staff, but it's got to be, right? You ask anybody in the country that's watched Tennessee play this year, what's the strong suit of their game? Running or passing?
Running.
And we threw 36 times, ran the ball with our running back 16 times, and then you had that one to Jalen Hyatt 17. You abandon it, and you're inviting this pass rush that's one of the best in the nation in. And then we talk about everybody talks about what gets JG comfortable. What gets JG comfortable? What gets the offensive line comfortable? Because everybody needs confidence.
Yeah.
So would you rather, if you're an offensive lineman, or if you're a normal human being who's never even played the sport, let's just imagine for a second. Would you rather drop back and try to defend someone running at you, or would you rather go be told who to run at, go run at someone and hit them as hard as you can? What's easier to do? And we just abandoned it and never gave them a chance. And you're gonna go, yeah, but you're down. But you weren't going to catch up passing.
No, you're just going 3 and out is pretty much all you're doing and putting your defense back on the field.
Yeah. And then we throw on that 3rd and 1. That was abysmal.
Yeah. Got to try it. Got to at least try it.
I mean,
because you probably go for it on 4th down anyway.
You probably do. And Jeremy Pruitt talks about playing scared and coaching. If you coach scared, you play scared. I think we coached scared yesterday, and I think that rolled over into playing a little scared.
Yeah. I think we were definitely overmatched. I think our offensive line, they didn't play good yesterday. I think they still are a really good unit.
I think you'll find out how good Georgia's defensive line is when they dominate Kentucky's defensive line next week.
Right, but that was the difference in the game. Georgia's defensive line and our defensive line, we've said it before, we just don't have those erasers like Georgia does. And they got them all over that defense.
Oh, that you really, I mean, people have been hyping that defense up all year, how great they are. You really found Tennessee made them look really good.
Oh yeah.
They didn't challenge them enough, I didn't think.
Our play calling wasn't good. We kept throwing it behind the line of scrimmage.
Yes, which is, and when you throw it to the short side, I believe that was Tennessee's first offensive drive. 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10. You throw it to the short side of the field in a tight set. What the hell kind of screen pass is that?
Yep.
Why are you not spreading the field on a screen pass? You're talking about some of the fastest linebackers, some of the fastest ends in the nation, and you made it easy on them.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. And then where's the? And I know I'm not the perfect play caller. I know Chaney knows more than me. But whatever, say it. Yeah, that's fine. But you never even try to spread them out. You never made them respect outside the tackles in terms of run game. You let them play in a man coverage all game. Where was Velus Jones on the jet sweep? You ran it one time with Jalen Hyatt. Sure, it got 3 yards. Well, I mean, it got 3 yards.
Yeah, that was more than you were averaging.
Yes. So I don't know. I was not pleased with the play calling at all. I thought it could have been a lot better. I thought you made it hard on your entire team. You talked about 3 and out. You kept your defense on the field. That is not a formula to win football games.
Yep. And it's frustrating to watch because like you had that good offensive line. You had a freaking TVA hype video before the game, and that looks stupid now.
Yeah.
But they got whooped in the run game. They couldn't get holes. Running backs couldn't break a tackle.
Nope.
We couldn't pass protect.
They couldn't block.
They couldn't pick up a blitz. The quarterback, a fifth-year senior, can't hold on to the ball. Throwing off his back foot for an interception to try to force something.
Into pressure.
Yeah.
Off his back foot, into pressure. Bad.
And the receivers didn't get any separation. So your offense didn't do absolutely anything yesterday.
No.
It was terrible to watch.
It was bad to watch. And I know a lot of people want to go, well, it's the offensive line's fault. We can't blame it on JG. But, yeah, the offensive line didn't play great. But you've got to look at what JG could have done to mitigate it. I mean, his 2 strip sacks, he takes a 3-step drop and doesn't move. You know pressure's coming. You've got your fifth-year senior. Mm-hmm. You've got to be better than that. You have to be.
Yep.
You didn't do your offensive line any favors, certainly. It was just not a good game from anyone on the offense, top to bottom. I think when you lose like that, it's hard to blame it on any one position group. You got to point to all 11 on the field, and it's easy to do that.
Yeah, 100%.
They all made their mistakes, and they made them pretty glaring. The only group that played pretty good, I think, is the receivers.
And
even they didn't.
Josh Palmer.
Okay, yeah. The only guy that played pretty good was Josh Palmer.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
I just give more kind of blame to the offensive line just because
It starts up front.
Yeah, and there was you have a ton of talent up there. There's no excuse why that defensive line just manhandled you yesterday.
No, there's certainly not. But
and you know what you get out of JG. You don't have a great quarterback.
Yeah,
I understand that he deserves some blame for not being able to hold on to the ball. But that offensive line has to be better.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. They do, and
they are better.
They are better.
Yeah.
It starts up front, and the offense also got 13 points scored on them. They had the 2 strip sacks that the defense actually holds them. One of the drives when they got the ball, Georgia only had -1 yards, and they had to kick a field goal. Mm-hmm. So they were responsible for 13 points.
Yeah.
So that's 31. So 31-21 would have been your final had your offense
held on to
the ball. Those are directly those 13 points are directly off turnovers.
Yeah, I think it was on our own 15 is where we fumbled once, and our own 35, and our defense caused 3 and outs, and they had to kick a field goal.
Yeah. So that's 13 direct points that you can point to the offense and say you caused. And I realize Georgia maybe scores if you punt the ball there, but you're not gifting them those points.
Right.
You're not gifting them. So who knows? You didn't give yourself a chance. Tennessee's offense, you point. So I mean, if we're gonna point to who, the good defense was the good. The bad was the offensive line. The bad was the offense as a whole. The ugly was the offensive line.
Oh, so we already getting to that?
I don't know. I just thought it was a good time to state it because we're kind of hitting on those points where the defense played pretty good. So that's my good, bad, ugly. You may go more specific than me.
I want a little bit more specific,
and that's fine. I'm sure it was easy to. I wasn't gonna. I don't know. I just think
there's a lot of bad and a lot of ugly.
There's a lot of bad and a lot of ugly. There's not a lot of good. Because even the defense. You have Travion Flowers drops that pick in the end zone. Was that Travion drops that pick in the end zone? That's a. I think they scored on that drive.
Yep, they scored.
You did have, and then we got to look at getting unlucky. I don't remember who it might have been. Jalen McCullough makes that strip, and it just hits an offensive lineman in the freaking crotch. And it's like, but those are the breaks that you sometimes don't get. You got to play, and you just got to keep playing through them, and it sucks.
Yep. The second half, that defense was just gassed.
Yeah. And they should have been.
And I don't think they have a ton of depth just to throw people in and out, kind of like Georgia does. So
not in the front. Maybe in your defensive line, but the drop off after your first 4 defensive line.
And again, there you don't have erasers,
and you definitely don't have them at running back or at linebacker.
Sorry. But I thought they held their own.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the defensive line, which was thought to be probably the biggest struggle. Now they're not able to get a ton of pressure. That's why we're having to bring Schamberger and Alontae Taylor and guys like that because we just don't have guys that can get to the football, and your best guy gets thrown out in the first 5 minutes.
And my biggest knock on the defense, if we're gonna pick on them, and I think it's fair to, you lost 44-21. You gotta cover over the middle. You made it easy on them.
Your linebackers are struggling in coverage,
struggling to cover, and we're trying to force these guys. We were taken away outside. Jeremy Banks gets caught twice, where he's on the dude's outside shoulder and cuts in and he's beat. Yep. That can't happen. You have a touchdown to Jackson that it's over the middle. 3 guys could have made the play if they were in a little bit better position. That's inexcusable.
Yep. Because that's where everybody that we played. That's where they're going to look at and be like, oh, we can this defense is good, but we can attack them. That's our weakness. in the
Especially
middle
with
of the
how much Tennessee blitzes.
field. Right.
And that's one thing.
And if you're not able to get home that middle of the field, which is already pretty wide based on what we can cover and what we can't,
Yeah.
it gets a lot wider when a quarterback's just sitting there forever to throw.
And that's also, one thing Tennessee could have done better offensively. Georgia, it's Kirby Smart and Jeremy Pruitt are. There's a reason Nick Saban liked them. They are blitz happy.
Yeah.
And Georgia brought the blitz. They were very creative, but when they blitz, what's open? The middle. And we did not attack the middle.
Well, and they did bring blitzes, but they're able to get pressure with 4 guys.
They are,
And that's
yeah.
something Tennessee cannot do.
No, very, very rarely, especially when DeAndre Johnson left the game.
Yep. Just couldn't get home with 4 guys. And that's the difference in the game, the defensive lines. I mean, our defensive line held their own in the run game, and they got a couple sacks at times. But for the most part, they weren't to the level Georgia was, not even close.
Right. And again, I'm going to pick on the defense because they didn't play, especially in the first half. They did not play fantastic. DeAndre Johnson bails them out of a 3rd and 9, I think. And then Alontae Taylor bails him out of a 3rd and 6, I believe, for DeAndre Johnson. 3rd and 9. Would have been 3rd and 9. Alontae Taylor commits that PI. Now, in the grand scheme of things, you go, that's a good PI because it's a 40-yard catch if he makes it. But why is he that open?
Make the play.
Yeah. Yeah, in the end of the day, you probably did the right thing to get that penalty. You take the 15 instead of the 40. Maybe touchdown. But what were you doing before that? What mistake led to that? That can't happen. It ended up being a 95-yard touchdown drive because of that PI.
Right.
And then, obviously, we know DeAndre Johnson's penalty led to a touchdown as well.
Yep.
So 2 big, glaring mistakes that are made that lead directly to touchdowns.
And I don't think,
And I'm sure those weren't the only mistakes on that drive.
right.
Those are the big ones.
And then, you have 2 stops on 4th down, one right before the half. That was
Big.
huge. That was huge to stay in the game, because if you don't, they go down and score on both of those drives.
Yep.
It's out of hand quick. Mm-hmm. Because your offense was basically non-existent.
And then you fumble out the half.
Yeah.
So they would have gotten a ton of free points had you not make that 4th down stop.
And
before the half.
JG, you can't ask a better first half from him. 11 for 13, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers.
He played good. He played great in the first half.
Yeah.
The offensive line played pretty good. Yeah, they had some mistakes, but
they didn't let them get to JG, but they whatever adjustments were made at halftime for Georgia just whooped Tennessee.
yeah, they definitely got outcoached, outclassed in the second half.
Yeah, but you can't play winning football when you're giving them extra opportunities. Like you mentioned, the penalties. We had 10 penalties for 84 yards.
Yeah,
And they came at crucial times. It wasn't just like a 5-yard penalty here, a 5-yard penalty there. And you can't have 5-yard penalties when our offense can't even move the football
and
anyway.
that's another thing the offensive line did not do great. I mean, how many false starts are in those 10 penalties?
Yeah, probably 2 or 3.
Bad.
Yep.
And I think one of them's on Kennedy because it looked like JG was ready for the
Yeah,
ball.
he moved the ball.
So 2 of them are on Kennedy because there's one play that the entire offensive line moves. JG kind of looks like he's expecting the ball, and Kennedy doesn't snap the ball. So 2 are probably on our center. That's inexcusable.
Yep.
What you got for? So you said the good was defensive line.
The good for me was Tennessee's first half. You didn't play great,
Okay.
but you're winning. You found a way.
Yeah.
We heard that in the intro. You found a way. You're finding a way to be ahead at the half. You won a half,
Yeah, you did.
and you found a way to stop them on 4th and goal from the inch-yard line. And then the second half, you just came out flat, and
You can't fumble on that drive.
no,
You can't.
you give it to them at the 15. And you can't expect your defense just to because your defense, they're missing opportunities too.
And
We're dropping picks. That's 3 drop picks that we've had in the past 2 weeks.
And you mentioned the depth. That's not good. Like you
Yeah.
can't
You
force
can't-
your defense into those situations.
Yeah, 3 and outs just killed us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Killed your defense. Another good for me is Josh Palmer.
Yeah, he looked phenomenal. Man.
He's come into his own, and it kind of
Everything
makes
that we expected and more.
it kind of makes me sick to think like the talent we had at receiver last year, and we still lost those 2 first games.
Yeah, Josh Palmer should have been even in the games you won. Josh Palmer probably could have been a bigger piece of your offense.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Should have been. I say could have. Should have been.
Yep. I agree with that. Yeah, he's looking like an NFL top receiver. Where last year he was our 3rd option.
Yeah. And I love Juwan Jennings. I love Marcus Callaway, but Probably should have been higher. We actually, when we went through, we flipped and talked about I think we did leading reception, leading yardage. What was the other one? Because you picked Josh Palmer for one of them.
I think it was
touchdowns maybe?
Yeah.
Touchdowns might have been Callaway, and you might have picked Palmer to lead in yardage.
Okay.
Because I know we talked about, I know at least for Juwan Jennings, we talked about he's going to get a lot of short yardage situations for
slants and things like
yeah,
that.
like he, when you need yards, you're going to, quick third down, second down, you're going to Juwan Jennings. But when you talked, I think you said Palmer was probably the most talented, and he was probably going to be able to rack up the most yardage. They just didn't use him enough.
Right.
And I think we talked about Callaway being able to be a touchdown, deep, red zone threat. I would assume is what we were talking about.
Yeah, so maybe he was touchdowns, and maybe Palmer was yards. The bad for me, penalties, just way too many penalties against, a top 5 opponent. You just can't have those dumb penalties, drop picks, just opportunities missed.
Yeah, Austin Stiles said we will be all right. Georgia is the number 3 team for a reason. I don't see anyone beating them. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the end of the world by any means.
No,
but you mentioned all those things. The no penalties. You can't have the drop picks. You can't make those little mistakes. You're never gonna beat a top 3 team, top 5 team. I think you just said that. If you make those mistakes, and the goal is to go in and beat them. If they're number 1, if they're number 3, if they're number 85, number 135, your goal is to go in and beat them. And then that's the thing is if you want to be in those games and give yourself a chance to win, you can't make those mistakes. You certainly don't kill the season at the side of losing to Georgia because they're really good.
Yeah,
but those mistakes can't happen if you want to be in those games.
100%. Yeah.
So I agree. Yeah, Austin, it's not the end of the world. 100%. I agree with that.
I still think Tennessee's a good football team.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you can't kill yourself.
Yeah.
And expect a different result.
Yeah. Make the other team beat you.
You've proven South Carolina, Missouri that you can win games pretty soundly and not turn the football over, not have a ton of penalties. Mm-hmm. If you do that, you are in a good position to win games because you have the talent.
Yeah, if you commit 8 penalties against South Carolina, you only won that game by 3. That's a loss.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Yep. The ugly for me is the -1 rushing yards. Just, especially after the hype video, you just can't. You can't do that.
Which, let's be fair, a lot of that came from sack yardage, and we can argue. But
still,
about stats.
It was like what 45 yards on like 20 something carries.
39 yards.
39 yards.
I think it depends on what JG had. 39 yards are from our run game.
Yep.
So yeah, it was not good.
Right.
But again, I think you pointed the 36 attempts passing and the you had 27 rushing. That's not really correct. You had 16 between your backs. Mm-hmm. That's not good.
No. And getting outscored 44-0 by Georgia in the second half in the last 2 games.
Yikes.
Just can't happen.
No. Yikes.
And expect to get competitive in that series. If you can't score in the second half, you're not going to win.
Nope.
And then 0-34 against top 10 opponents.
God dang it. Something had to give.
That's ugly. Ugly.
Yeah, you're right.
So where do we go? Or do you want to talk about anything else?
No, I mean, let's get a little more positive because I like Austin's comment. He's right. This isn't the end of the world. I like that. It's not the end of the world. You play
Kentucky next week.
If
they're not Georgia.
Yeah, if Clemson wasn't in the ACC and had to play an SEC schedule, you'd probably be number 2. Clemson looks good. Still have questions about their defense. Yeah, man, there's definitely some things to take away. Your defense looked good.
Yeah,
your defense looked good. I mean, I think everyone expected that to kind of be besides your offensive line, you expected to kind of rely on your defense a little bit this year. You got experience there. I know your signal caller and the guy that's kind of your leader is just a sophomore, but I mean he has the makings of an All-American.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, and the reality of this game is like on Georgia's defense, they have a ton of guys with that type of talent.
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
That defense.
Yeah.
And we have 1. Maybe 2.
Maybe 2. Maybe. But even that, the second guy I'm probably alluding, maybe 3. One of the guys I'm alluding to though got ejected in the first quarter, 6 minutes into the game. So, yeah, it definitely makes it tougher. So I mean, there's definitely a lot of positives. I think you use that defense to you rely on them a lot, and Alabama has a phenomenal offense. Well, that's good that your defense is probably your strength this year. Then, if you're looking at a team like that. I think the offense, hopefully maybe this is a kind of come to Jesus moment and you know that you cannot go away from that running game, especially as early as you did. Maybe it's kind of a wake-up call like, you know what? JG's not the the worst thing to happen. But he can't be relied on to go win you a ball game. And we've been saying that the whole time. I think everybody knows that. But he's not going to go win you a ball game like Georgia. Can he maybe win you South Carolina? Maybe. Can you maybe beat Kentucky for you? Maybe. But those kind of games,
Missouri.
and he'll probably beat Missouri. But those kind of games, he just doesn't have the ability to go win for you. So you definitely got to figure out something for that, because we talk about it's good. Again, I said at the beginning of the show, it's good. Tennessee's beating the Missouris, the South Carolinas, the Kentuckys, the Vanderbilts. Hopefully, I mean, you don't have a winning streak against them, but hopefully you start one this year. It's good Tennessee's beating those teams, but if you want Tennessee to be back, if you want it to be this premier program that it was in the 90s and early 2000s, you've got to have a chance to beat those teams. You can't just go, well, clock it all, mark down Georgia, Alabama, and Florida as a loss and try to win the other 7, or try to win in a normal year, win the other 5. No, that cannot be the answer. You've got to find ways to win and be in this game. So as much hope as I have for the rest of this season, I'd like to have hope for October 24th. I'd like to have hope for December 1st or whatever day it is, December 5th.
Yep.
I'd like to have hope for those games because I have hope for the rest of them. I think Tennessee's in an okay spot, but I'd like to have hope for these big games.
Yeah, those are the 3 games that Jeremy Pruitt mentioned that he was going to be judged on when he took the job. Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. And so far, I think he's 0-7.
Yeah, you don't want to go into the boss's office right now.
Right. Yeah, I mean that. And I understand, like, you came into a terrible program, and you've seen a ton of improvement with this team. Like you said, you've beaten the teams that you should have beat. Mm-hmm. But you got to find a way.
You got to find a way to be in these games, because if you lose that game, if Tennessee loses that game 31-21, you feel better about where you're at. If Tennessee loses that game 31-28, 31-30, you're walking away feeling really good about where Tennessee's at. But even when you go, the defense only had 31 points scored on them. That still is that your offense didn't do much help for you.
No.
Because we're also talking about one of your touchdowns being a snap over Stetson Bennett's head.
Right.
Which, defense had to make the play. They forced a bad play.
They kind of gave it to you.
Yeah, but you got gifted 7 points.
Yep.
And you weren't able to take advantage of it.
I mean, what a perfect start for the game for Tennessee.
Yes.
And then to lose the way they did, it was just depressing.
It was very depressing. And another positive, I thought we spread the ball around. That was nice. I liked us getting the ball more to Eric Gray in the passing game. You did see, you saw two tight ends catch the ball. Brandon Johnson had a couple catches, and then obviously Josh Palmer looked great. Would like to see Jalen. I still want to see some more Jalen Hyatt. Big Jalen Hyatt guy. I want to see him get involved, especially when they're a man. I want to see you get the ball to him more.
Yeah, and Tennessee's. Pruitt mentioned they're going to have a scrimmage on Sunday today.
With the ones involved?
With the guys who didn't play it.
I was about to say, oh, God, man.
Because you just haven't really had enough guys to be able to scrimmage.
Yeah.
So we kind of did this in college. We did it on Mondays. So it was guys who didn't play that much would play. It was called Monday Bowl. Would basically scrimmage. And that was like, if you didn't get to see a ton of them on. Because coaches, like. You can say what you want, but they really only pay attention to the first and second team. Anything after that, they're just like, oh, okay, yeah.
Unless the guy just makes a couple incredible plays on scout team,
right.
You're not getting their attention.
Right. So, I mean, this is a way to see some of those games.
Or if you really suck on scout team.
Yeah.
It's the only way you're getting the coach's attention if you're not in that first group.
Right. So, I mean, find out what some of these young guys can do. I mean, we haven't seen it. We've seen Jalen Hyatt because I think he was just a difference maker from the start of camp. Mm-hmm. But guys who've missed some, I don't feel like we've seen. I mean, you haven't seen Holiday really, Callaway, Weidman. I mean, none of those guys. And those guys have speed. And when you're playing press, man, that's the best thing you can have is speed.
And and flipping to the defensive side of the ball, some guys you didn't mean. You did get to see Morgan Joseph a little bit.
Yeah, and I think he stood out.
Yeah, I mean, for what he was kind of thrown into after DeAndre Johnson was thrown out, because then you're relying on Tyler Barron, who's another freshman. He's seen a little bit more of the field this year. But yeah, you definitely your freshmen are probably some of your better players when you look at the talent raw talent they had when you just look at the rankings. And you can say recruiting rankings don't matter, but the talent gap between Georgia and Tennessee is evident. And Georgia's had the number 1 recruiting class the last 2 years.
Yep.
So
and that builds depth too.
Yep. And obviously recruiting rankings don't win you the game. You still got to play it, but it's a factor.
Definitely helps.
It's a factor.
Yeah,
it's a factor. I don't know how I'm not going to say it's the biggest,
like when you're talking about the trenches, that's where trenches start is recruiting.
Yep.
You got to find erasers on defense, and got to have the big uglies up front. Anything else for like? What else has to improve?
Offense play calling.
Okay.
It's been not great since Jeremy Pruitt's been here. You blamed it a lot on Tyson Helton. You've seen flashes of it. You've seen some games of it. I thought South Carolina and Missouri were pretty well called outside of a couple plays, a couple drives. But overall, pretty well called. You are perfect on fourth down. So, figure out what works for you on fourth down. I'll give you a hint.
And do it on third down.
It's called keeping the ball on the ground.
Yep.
I just think maybe we tried to overdo it. And a lot of people may think we tried to underdo it. I've talked to some people who didn't think we maybe put enough window dressing on it, and I can respect that. But I also think that offensive line's really good, and I thought you put them in a really bad situation. If you let a defensive line like that tee off on you all game, they're gonna take advantage.
Oh yeah.
I think
you didn't give them anything to really respect.
No,
you didn't do a ton of like running back screens to try to they're pinning their ears back coming at me. That's how you stop that.
It's a good point too. If you're gonna run a
slants
screen,
right behind some blitzes.
We definitely did not take advantage of those blitzes that were made.
And where's Velas Jones?
Yeah,
where's Mike?
A couple jet sweeps to him, you're at least making those edge rushers respect it.
Yeah.
You're at least making those defensive backs respect it. You just didn't do it enough. I'd like to
see.
see.
And he's got speed.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's what you're worried about, just freshmen, just not knowing really what you have in them.
You got Velas.
He's a guy that's played a lot of college football.
Yep. So I think the offensive play calling's got to improve from this week. The good news is I think it was good in the first 2 weeks. So I don't, again, kind of going back to what Austin said, I don't think it's the end of the world.
Yeah. Also, I want to go back to the defense just to point out a positive.
Yeah, let's get happy with it.
You're the playmaker for Georgia, the guy that you wanted to look out for. He didn't really do a whole lot.
No,
George Pickens had 2 receptions for 14 yards and a 15-yard penalty because he wanted to squirt JG when he went on the sideline. What a punk!
Yeah. Well, Kirby Smart even kind of alluded to that too. Just immature.
And maybe I don't know how much. I know he held Bryce Thompson on Stetson Bennett's touchdown, but
blocking the back. But yeah,
right. I don't know how much. Was he in the doghouse for that? Maybe.
Yeah. You definitely did not. Which we didn't.
You shut him down.
Yeah, we didn't talk a lot about Karius Jackson, and he took advantage of it. He's had a big year. I think he after that game, I believe he's the leading receiver in the SEC. No, because I'm sure somebody from Alabama had in 63 points. I'm sure somebody had an insane game. So
right.
But Karius Jackson is probably Georgia's best receiver right now, just because I'm sure teams are keying in a little bit more on George Pickens. That helps him, but he's probably your best option. He's been the most consistent this year.
I think Bryce Thompson did a really good job on him.
Yeah, Bryce Thompson played well. He didn't try to punch a guy, you idiots.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean that. I just got carried away.
What's the difference in somebody coming in the pile and punching the ball, forward, or is somebody coming from behind somebody and trying to punch it out from the?
So that's the thing is that when he came in and punched up. He didn't come in throwing haymakers.
No.
So.
And what kind of moron tries to punch somebody in the helmet anyway?
Yeah.
I mean, if that was his intent, he's dumb.
Yeah.
And that wasn't his intent.
No, I don't think he even touched the guy.
No.
Also,
it wasn't even near the dude's helmet.
I don't know how intelligent Bryce Thompson is. Hopefully he's intelligent, but I hope he'd also know that that's probably breaking your hand and not hurting the guy in the helmet at all.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
That wasn't a punch. It was
I thought
for the ball. Think about the timing in the game.
Yeah, wow.
Tennessee was trying everything they could to get the ball back.
Yeah, and the officials weren't doing you any favors.
And if the
trash
guys, the officials would have called him for that.
Right.
Let's be honest. Mm-hmm. It wasn't hidden. It wasn't something that happened in the pile that only the slow-mo camera got.
Right.
If they thought he was swinging, you don't think they're going to throw that ejection?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, yeah. They were just they were waiting for somebody to do something stupid for Tennessee. I'm actually shocked.
They do it to anybody.
I'm actually shocked that they flagged George Pickens.
I'm surprised, too, because nobody... I'm not surprised necessarily because I think the officiating was skewed towards Georgia. That's not what I mean. Because nobody reacted. JG, I think, just kind of went like that, and nobody from Tennessee saw it.
It's probably a good thing because it probably would have
been a fight. Yeah. So it was good that no one saw it. But I think someone tweeted, they're like, if that happened in the 90s, Tennessee's DBs would have made him pay for, the cheap shot. I'm like, I don't know if anybody saw it. I didn't see it
And
in
we
real
can't
time.
be just giving them more yards.
Exactly. But I didn't see it in real time. I don't think really anybody we were watching with saw it in real time.
That's somebody. If you're whooping them, then yeah, maybe you can do some kind of retaliation where 15 yards doesn't kill you.
Yeah.
But it
that
ain't
free
worth an
fif-
ejection.
No, take that free 15.
I don't think they were ejecting back in the 90s either. So
Not as much as they are now.
no.
Not as much as they are now.
Matt Davis said, I disagree. He tried to punch the guy clearly. No, he didn't.
No, I'm sorry.
A
The
guy doesn't swing and try to
He was
hit
swinging.
him in the chest.
He came in and swung up. Who punches like that besides the 4-year-olds?
See, I thought he swung down.
I think he was diving in and came in and like. I mean, it would have been a Superman punch had he done it.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't even near the dude's face. It was obviously directly toward the ball. So
Again, I go back to the point: if the officials thought it was malicious, you really don't believe they would have taken the opportunity to throw that flag and eject him?
right.
Really? I don't know. Whatever.
Also, Henry.
Here's the fact of the matter: if he was swinging, he would have been ejected. So I get to say I'm right because he wasn't ejected.
Is Henry? Who's Henry? The best linebacker at Tennessee since what? Since who? I mean,
There's
those
been a lot of good linebackers.
those fourth and short, there's fourth and goal, and then there was a 4th and 1 that he just stuffed because he jumps over the pile.
Yeah, I don't.
I've seen a lot of people say Gerard Mayo.
That just feels like too long ago, doesn't it? I mean, maybe
Yeah,
it feels like he was.
but I've also seen some people say Al Wilson.
That's even longer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's
Someone said in Twitter said he was either, I think it went away, something like either he was tried to get it up, either he was swinging at the ball or he has the worst aim ever.
yeah.
He said he missed the dude by a foot. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to say whatever. Again, I hope Bryce Thompson's not that dumb. I really do, and I don't mean like does he know 2 + 2. I mean, surely he knows that ejection would not be worth it.
Right. He saw DeAndre Johnson get ejected for something stupid.
He
so-
misses I think in the entirety of the Kentucky game if he throws that.
Yeah.
Not just the first half.
Right.
So, hopefully.
Might have to pay a fine for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You got anything else for this Tennessee game, or are you ready to talk some of the rest of it? Make fun of the bad teams in the league.
Who else impressed you? We'll go with that.
First half JG, I thought was really good. And I know I'm not saying the second half pinned the game on him or anything, but I thought he could have done a lot of things to make it easier on the offensive line and the offense. Eric Gray, I thought impressed me in the run game and the pass game. You got him the ball more. I thought Josh Palmer, easy one. Henry Toto, man, 2 tackles for a loss, 11 total. I thought he played really, really well. You talked about that goal line stand. I believe it was Karat. Is that how you say his name? Karat Garland, who made a fantastic play on I think it was the 3rd down play.
Okay.
No, it was the 4th down play. Made a fantastic play to really bust up right where Georgia was trying to run the ball, and just big play from him. Maybe not a great game, but that play stood out to me. That was one of the plays I did rewatch. You asked me if I rewatched the game. Couldn't bring myself to rewatch the whole game, but
Yeah, I couldn't do it today.
did a
Needed,
little bit.
needed a break from it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess this isn't really a break, but you get it.
Right.
I didn't want to watch it again.
Right. Paxton Brooks. I'll give a little bit of credit to him. I thought he hadn't been great in the punt game this year, and I thought he did a lot of things well for us. They said he didn't pin anybody inside the 5. I thought Georgia's 4th drive started on the 5-yard line. How'd that happen? Did we not punt to him and pin him inside the 5?
I don't remember. I don't remember some of his punts were really good punts. I don't know if they were inside the 5, but it was a 6.
Let me see. So he punted. Did they commit a penalty? A 15-yard penalty and go back to the 5?
Oh, maybe.
But that would be inside the 20, wouldn't it? No, it says Carius Jackson, he punted for 50 yards. Fair call at the 5. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Do they not count that as a pin? But, yeah, I thought he did really well. I thought that punt game could have helped us. And obviously just everybody else wasn't great. So
Right.
But Paxton Brooks, shout out to him. I thought he played not great in the first 2 games and punted the ball well. 47-yard average, I think. So
One for me that stood out: Roman Harrison, 2 sacks.
yeah, he did play well.
And that was, I mean, that was a big boost because like we thought he would be the guy over DeAndre Johnson coming into the season.
Right.
We thought either one of them would really push to be second, kind of behind Kevon Bennett, and DeAndre Johnson just had a great start to the season. Other than
that one.
other than the targeting call, but I thought he looked really good. I thought Tyler Barron looked good. He had 5 tackles. Morvan Joseph had a half a sack. I thought Elijah Simmons played well until they tried to tear his ACL on a chop block. And then Bryce Thompson, Henry T, Josh Palmer. Let's go game ball. Who you getting your game ball to?
Game ball, offensive, Josh Palmer. Defensive, I feel like I'm basic for going Henry To'oTo'o, but no one else. Like I feel like no one else really shined. Maybe Roman Harrison. You mentioned Roman Harrison, maybe, but I think I got to go Henry To'oTo'o.
I'm gonna go Josh Palmer too, just because like that was probably your only highlights on offense.
Yeah.
And I'll go Roman Harrison, 2 sacks.
Okay.
Coming in relief.
Another guy I want to shout out is Trevion Flowers. Other than that drop interception, I thought he played really well.
Those
Thought he played good in the run support too.
Those dropped interceptions are making me sick.
Yeah, you got to finish those plays out.
Making me sick.
Draft Alex asked, "Hey guys, you know how many total penalties on us? 8 for 64 yards, 10 for 64,
10 for 84.
10 for 84. Dyslexic over here. So that's not good, Alex. He also said, "What was the deal with Georgia's D-line last second switch? Got us twice at least, I think. Yeah, it got us a couple times. I don't know what that is. They do that. They've been doing it all year, so he should have known that was something.
What was it? What was
that
the
little
question?
switch they do at the last second? They move over gaps. They move over gaps.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it does for them, but they've been doing it. I do know that.
Yeah, I think somebody said it. Number one, it tries to get them to jump.
Right, and it's been successful, not just against Tennessee, but against.
And they
Virginia
think
State.
Tennessee is changing the play.
Okay.
So they shift. Like, it gives them a 50% chance that they're shifting into the play.
Gotcha. Gotta go one way, right or left.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you're right or wrong.
Yeah, so I don't know what the deal is with the shift exactly. I just know that they do it. So, you got any questions about the Tennessee game? Or are we ready to go to college football recap?
So Matt Davis says, we have no ability to make quick passes. What is the deal? I'm with you. I think especially with guys coming off the edge, the pressure that they were getting, that you would try some quick passes. There wasn't a ton of room. You're playing press man, so I know that's hard for receivers that don't have a ton of speed. I feel like you have a ton of speed that you just got to throw out there. You just got to, like, give yourself a chance. I mean, what does it hurt, really?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of play calling. I think you said, "What's the deal?"
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of play calling.
Yeah, I think
you got to take advantage of those, and you just didn't. And if it's not play calling,
you got to make an adjustment at
is it
some
JG?
point.
I mean,
it didn't seem like you
Yeah.
made hardly any on offense.
no football coach in the world besides like Nick Saban and Clint and Dabo Sweeney run enough slants.
And why did we? I mean, I'm sure they had probably adjusted over the top with Josh Palmer, but why didn't we try to? If they were playing man, why didn't we try more shots?
Well, I mean, the 2 shots we took, which I was okay. I know we overthrew. I think it was Palmer once. Maybe it might have been Hyatt. We overthrew him once, and I like that you're at least stretching them. And I thought you did some good things in the first half offensive play calling, besides a few plays. I thought you did some good things to try to open it up, and it's like you just everything you tried to do, you were like, scrap it, go to the next thing.
Yep.
It just seemed weird. It was weird. Didn't seem like we were setting much up.
So, you still JG as QB1?
I mean, I've been calling for him for a while.
I wouldn't have been mad if they would have thrown somebody out there in like garbage time. I really wouldn't have been upset.
Right.
To at least, I don't want to say give them a chance, but like when a year where it doesn't really matter anyway.
Right.
Like, why don't you? I don't know how much Harrison Bailey's actually practiced. I know he's been out a lot due to the coronavirus. So I'm hoping that he got a lot of work today in this scrimmage to maybe see what you got in him. But I think if it's not him, JG's definitely your best option out of Maurer and Shroud of what we've seen so far.
Yep. I agree. Well, yeah. I don't know. I'm ready to see a switch. I'm just ready to see some. I'm looking for something fresh now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how people keep lucking into just getting some no-name guy and being good. Like Kyle Trask was a 3-star barely. He probably could have been a 2-star with his rating on 247. Stetson Bennett was a walk-on that went the JUCO route and then went back to Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, and Stetson Bennett is not all world. I'm not saying that.
No. He played good enough to win, though.
You know what you get out of him. He's not going to make a ton of mistakes. He can make some plays with his legs.
He should have made some mistakes yesterday. Tennessee just didn't make him pay for it.
Yep.
So,
And when you got a defense like that, it's a lot easier to just like don't lose the game.
Right.
So
Right. How do you give out game ball in a loss? Because we're a Tennessee podcast. And we're talking about Tennessee
we give
players.
game balls all the time.
If you want Georgia to give game balls, go to a Georgia podcast. Thanks, Matty. I appreciate the question. Alex asked another question. No problem, dude. We love answering questions. He said, do you think Tim Jordan would have made a difference in a game like this? I mean, no, because we didn't run the ball. But also, I don't know. He's not a...
He didn't break a lot of tackles for
I think he got the title of starter a couple times last year, but I don't think he was ever the best back on the team. So I don't know. I mean, he might have made at least a couple defensive linemen. You know, he might have shed a couple tackles, but I don't think enough to make a big difference now.
I don't think he was big enough to run through arm tackles.
No, he have made an impact, maybe. It's possible, but I don't think any more than Eric Gray or Ty Chandler.
No, I don't think so either.
And then we certainly didn't. We weren't going to give it to him if he was on the team. So
yeah, what is up with Georgia playing Zamir White over McIntosh? McIntosh is is that right?
No, it's Kendall Milton.
Milton. Yeah, sorry. I don't know why I was saying McIntosh.
I don't know.
Is that another one too?
McIntosh did run the ball well. I don't know who people were more impressed with, but Milton had more yards.
But yeah, like those two backs look way better than Zamir White.
I just can't. I mean, yeah. They moved the ball around though again.
But I think in a game like that, you need a bigger back when you have those kind of defensive linemen to run through arm tackles. And
that's what Alex just said. That. He said I was feeling like Ty and Gray are small. Yeah, they are a little bit on the smaller side.
But Tim Jordan wasn't much bigger.
No, and then by the time he did size up, I don't think it was a healthy.
Yeah.
If you saw his last picture we've seen of him. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, maybe he might have helped out. I just don't know. Eric Gray runs downhill pretty well, a little bit better than Ty Chandler. So, yeah, he definitely could have helped. I don't know, but you do have a guy who's 6'4", 230 on the roster. That I think if you're looking for a bruiser, I know he's a freshman, but he's the biggest guy you got. Maybe look to him soon.
Yeah, I'm looking for this kind of offense to just be more adamant of just playing your best guys, not worrying that.
How young they are.
Just because they're freshmen. Yeah. You do it on defense.
Right.
I mean, why not just see what they can do? I don't know.
Just run the damn ball.
Run it.
All right. College football.
Let's
do it. Obviously, Tennessee dropped their game to number 3 Georgia, 44-21.
We didn't drop that much in the rankings.
No,
not as much as you probably thought.
I'm surprised Auburn stayed as high as they did.
Yeah, I am too, because they should have lost to Arkansas.
The officials are the reason they didn't.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yoicks. So, whatever. Then you also got Missouri beating number 17 LSU 45-41 on the road in Columbia, Missouri. That game was originally scheduled for LSU, and then because of tropical storms. But I think they gave LSU the honor of being the home team, which is nice of them. Kind of LSU, or kind of Missouri. So they got the upset away loss. That's big.
Dude, that's
got to go on. Hey, to go on the road and beat a top 25 opponent, it's tough to do.
Yeah, LSU, there's no excuse for that.
No,
I mean, that's just terrible. They ran 20 times for 49 yards. With that kind of talent they have on that offensive line.
We should have hired Eli Drinkowitz.
Yeah, I guess so. And Missouri's defensive line is not good.
No, not at all.
I mean, Terrace Marshall went freaking off.
LSU is going to be interesting to see the next few weeks. Then you have number 2, Bama. Yes, this score is 100% correct.
It's not basketball season yet.
You can fact check me because I'm now a fact guy. I'm like I was on Saturday. Bama, 63 at Ole Miss, 48. What the heck? And then some article, it's going to be my stupidity this week, said that Lane Kiffin outcoached Nick Saban.
Ooh, whoa. You lost.
First, you lost.
Yeah.
God bless people. Next up, number 4, Florida goes on the road to number 21 A&M. gets beat 41-38 on a last-second field goal. Dude, Jimbo Fisher tried to coach that game away. He did all he could. Those timeouts at the end of half were pitiful.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah, he's
It wasn't a pretty game.
And Isaiah Spiller is a freaking dude.
Yes. Give him the... I think... Someone said, I think they found their offensive identity. If they didn't, Jimbo should get fired. If he doesn't touch the ball 22 times a game, fire Jimbo.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
That's easy to do. Give him the ball. Next one, like we said, Auburn should have lost this week. Number 13, Auburn hosted Arkansas. They won that one. Almost said lost. Won that one 28-30 on a field goal. Should not. That little spike was not good by Bo Nix. Holy crap. Fumbled, actually.
Yep.
So they said it wasn't a clear and immediate recovery. But apparently they jumped on the ball immediately after. So I haven't seen that.
So they called it a fumble.
No. They called it a... Did they call it a fumble? I thought they blew their whistles. And
See,
I
thought they called it an incomplete pass.
They called it an incomplete pass. And they said because it was fumbled on the field, but they blew their whistles dead. So the call ended up being an inadvertent whistle and intentional grounding, I think. I don't remember. But then they came back and said, the SEC said it was a fumble, should have been should have been an inadvertent whistle because there wasn't a clear and immediate recovery from either team.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Then South Carolina getting in the win column, beating up on Vandy 41-7. Vanderbilt just looks worse and worse each week. My favorite score of the week, Mississippi State 2 at Kentucky, who scored a whopping 24 on Mike Leach. I mean, it is tough to outscore Mike Leach, and you did it.
Yeah, you did it. And they threw 70 times and scored 2 points.
That's embarrassing.
Hire Mike Leach. I wanted Mike Leach.
You'll never win a game with that like LSU if
gosh.
you don't hire Mike Leach.
I wanted the Pirate. That's so dumb. I can't believe people said that.
People are still saying that.
I mean, I said some, like, the things that I wanted to see on Saturday, like, none of them came true. But I didn't say that. Like, you can call me a moron, but the people that said they wanted Mike Leach after that win against...
To be fair, the things you said, while maybe you missed, you did miss. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did.
It's okay. I missed too in my keys to the game.
Yeah.
If they had done them, you would have won.
Exactly. So I was setting them up.
If they had done them, they would have won.
So I lobbed it up to them. They just couldn't dunk it.
Yeah. Sorry. No, what's his name from the alley-oop and Chop. What's that? Oh my God, the Will Ferrell movie.
Jackie Moon, but it's not Jackie
God,
Moon.
I don't know the movie.
The Flint Tropics.
The Flint Tropics. Who's the dude who does
Semi-pro.
alley-oop? Semi-pro. Who's the dude who does alley-oop?
Coffee Black.
Coffee Black. No Coffee Blacks in here. Throwing alley-oops. Keep going around in college football. On Friday night, Louisville went to Georgia Tech. Think they started off pretty hot, but dropped that one 46-27.
Georgia Tech's got a massive kicker.
Yeah, I love it. You love to see it.
Little hefty guy.
Staying in the ACC, FSU 26, number 5, Notre Dame 42. Notre Dame now holds the longest winning streak by themselves in the country.
Gross.
Right. I think with Air Force, actually. And you don't include them as a Power 5, right?
Nope.
So they don't even get that title.
Nope.
Next up, number 19, Virginia Tech 45. Number 8, UNC 56. A lot of people are saying UNC's for real, but they forgot that Virginia Tech just scored 45 on them.
Boat race. They scored 23 in the third quarter against North Carolina.
Yikes.
Jesus.
Yoicks. Next up, number 15, BYU barely holds on against UTSA. 27-20. BYU struggling to get opponents this year. Almost got upset by one. Next one, the Red River Rivalry. Say that 5 times fast. Number 22, Texas, 45. Oklahoma getting back on the right track. 53 in 4 overtimes. We didn't get to watch the end of that one, but 4 overtimes. Texas Tech, 15. Number 24, Iowa State, 31. Iowa State. I would say are they for real, but they lost to Louisiana Lafayette.
Yeah, they did. They did beat Oklahoma, right?
They did. Yeah, they did last week.
Yeah.
Next one, number 7, Miami. Game of the week. Death Valley. Only scored 17 points. Number 1, Clemson. Handled that one. They had some. They got
told
some
you, man.
backups. You did. You got that one right.
I told you.
I was wrong on that one. They got Clemson got 42 and even got some backups in to get a couple meaningful snaps, if you will.
Dude, and they put a whooping on De'Aaron King.
Yeah.
He had 121
Miami struggled.
He barely had over 200 yards total offense.
Yes,
Barely.
Miami struggled. Miami struggled. Not good. Not a good look. Not a good look.
Nope. That conference is just so weak.
Yeah, it's not pretty. It's not pretty for sure.
Because I don't think UNC can compete with Clemson either. Not based on what their defense gave up to Virginia Tech.
No, not a chance. Clemson's gonna. Whatever the odds are for Clemson, just bet the house on it and take the little winnings.
Yeah.
Whatever the odds are for them to win the ACC.
Take the over.
They're gonna have no problem winning the ACC. No problem. Be interesting to see them in the college football playoff against teams like Georgia, Alabama. I don't know who the fourth team will be right now. Tennessee? Why not?
I mean, it's in the college football playoff. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like I don't know who the fourth team will be. I think it's gonna be Clemson, Alabama, and Georgia. I mean,
Maybe Ohio State.
I mean, I guess like Florida could be a possibility because
Yeah,
they just got to beat Georgia. Ohio State, yeah.
That's gonna be a weird matchup because like the defense and then
against a high-powered offense. It'll be weird for sure.
I think the game next week is huge. Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Alabama's defense doesn't look great.
No. No. Someone mentioned the Rebels are going to score on everybody. I mean, they're going to score, but they lost to Florida in week 1. Should have lost to Kentucky in week 2.
Yeah.
And lost last week, scoring all these points. So I mean, yeah, it's fun, I guess, but it's also not fun losing. So
Right.
I mean, yeah, whatever. I don't disagree. They're going to score on everyone, but can they beat a lot of people? I don't know. I'm not convinced of it. I'm not convinced. All right. High school football. You ready for that?
Yeah, let's get to it.
Like I said, this one got a familiar name, but not starting in East Tennessee this week. I said if I like a video from not in Tennessee, I'll show it. This time, starting with our boy Arch Manning. Doesn't look like his. You love to see it. That Trevon Barfield touchdown was good for 68 yards, and it helped them beat Powell 39-27.
Pow!
Pow! That was good. That was a good game. That was a great run. High school highlights, man. High school football. Another good week.
Yeah, I love it.
Another good week.
Also, McMinn County.
Week 8.
McMinn County putting some points up again. 50-6 over Notre Dame.
Send me some plays. Send me some plays from McMinn County. If they've got some good touchdowns, I'll include them.
Yeah.
I'll include them.
Need to see them. Kings Academy.
Kings Academy, baby. Going to state. You got it. I'm locking
in the
them
win
in.
column.
Lock them in.
42-14 over Oneida. Trying to see some more in here. Bearden over Jeff County, 33-24. You have Dobbins Bend over Farragut, 56-35. Gatlinburg Pittman over Seymour, 41-6. Gibbs over Lenore City, 49-41. You have South Dual over Halls, 21-14. Go Keys. Morristown East 54, Sevier County 23. Maryville 35, Bradley Central 13. You mentioned Knox West 39, Powell 27. Fulton 24, Clinton 6, Central 14, Carter 6. Catholic 44, West Green 21. I think that's kind of all we got for around this Knoxville area.
That's week 8 of high school football, so it's about to come to an end. Kind of feels like it just
weird.
started, so
Yeah,
it's
it's
pretty weird to feel it already coming to an end. But regardless, it's been a good season. Going to be some good playoff matchups. Kind of, while I'm not ready for the season to end, definitely ready to see some exciting playoffs.
Yeah.
And I mean, there should be good groupings in 6A, 5A, and maybe even some games to look out for in 4A.
Mm-hmm.
3A probably can go ahead and hand the gold ball to Alcoa. Save some teams the trouble.
Yeah, there is the Firebirds.
Firebirds. Is Pearl Cone?
Procon, yes.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, that's who I was
They're
looking
3A?
for. Sorry. Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, so I think that'll probably be the semifinal, I'm guessing.
Okay. Nice. Now, I think they played in the state championship one year, so they might be the.
Okay,
They might
so
be on the other
it
side.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it might
Might be on the other side. I don't know. We'll see. Cool. That'll be fun to look at. Apparently, Dak Prescott just had a nasty injury.
Yeah,
didn't
I
see it.
noticed he was off on the cart.
Gotcha. Yeah, apparently it was not pretty. You ready to go some segments?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Most important of the week. What you got for me?
Most important of the week, Alex Smith making his return to football.
Probably You know.
Not playing since 2018. That's
speaking of nasty injuries.
you're right.
So
I'm sure his wife was nervous.
yeah. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I got our boy Andy Bowser. Someone said those UGA girls aren't ready for Big Orange Andy. He said, I'd keep walking unless you bleed orange. Guys, that's a man that's loyal to the team. Because there's not a lot of women that, most men would say no to. And he's going to say, unless you wear orange. No. So
Yeah.
that's respect.
Yeah, good for
I have
him.
a lot of respect for him.
He's got a lot more respect than Morgan Wallen does.
Morgan Wallen and Kenny Chesney should take lessons.
Yeah, they should.
I've
Yeah,
also-
put Andy on SNL.
Yeah, absolutely. I've also got a random caller that called into the Carolina Calls radio show. He asked Will Muschamp. He said, I've got a COVID question. Have you and the coaches thought about wearing ski masks? That would make it easier to steal money from Ray Tanner. Muschamp will make around $4 million this year.
Oh my god.
What do you think that radio call went like? You think they cut him off?
Yeah, probably. You got to. Yeah.
Immediately. That's awesome.
Oh, sorry. We just had a glitch in the system.
Yep. Amazing.
My next one is Ramon Foster, VFL.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Williams tweets, "Hey guys, I need your help and a prayer for Ramon Foster. Nothing is wrong with him, but his institution is getting abused and maimed on national television." And then Ramon Foster just comes back. "Never forget you sat out the game you were supposed to play Tennessee."
Yikes. Called out.
Damn.
You love to see it. Called out.
There has been a murder and you are a suspect.
Yeah. I've got one more from Alabama. Going to give some Alabama fans some credit here. Doing some little Wikipedia editing. They went on their defensive coordinator, Pete Golding's Wikipedia, and put, he's an American football coach who is the defensive coordinator. He was fired by Nick Saban on October 10th, 2020, after leading the worst defense since Zen Scott Jr. was the head coach at the University of Alabama. Mountain Brook Junior High also doesn't want him, nor does any other team.
Yikes. Ugh.
What a great use of your Wikipedia article there. Phenomenal work from the Alabama fan base.
My next one is Najee Harris. 5 touchdowns against Ole Miss.
Dude,
206 yards, 5 touchdowns.
That man went off.
He wants a Heisman. He wants to be the next running back that collects a Heisman. He wants to be in the Heisman House commercials.
Dude, he's loving those commercials. Loving them. Yeah, that was...
Did you see the
It's-
one
not
where
only
Tim
is it-
Tebow's dressed like Jesus?
Yeah. Not only is it nuts that he scored 63 points, or that Alabama scored 63 points, they did it on the back of a running back.
Yeah, they did.
Wild.
That's all I got for most important.
That's all I got, too.
Any fails?
I gotta find my fail. I've only got one.
I got one too, so I'll go ahead with mine. It's Mississippi State and their high-powered offense.
It's hard to stop.
Through 70 times, scored 2 points, 6 interceptions. between the two quarterbacks that played. 6.
Good Lord.
And it's not like Kentucky's defense is just like
No,
Georgia's.
they're not ridiculously stout or anything.
Threw 6 interceptions and only rushed for 20 yards. So we didn't turn the ball over that much.
Right.
It could be worse.
Oh, absolutely.
Could be worse.
Absolutely. I'm still looking for mine. You have any more?
I think that's
Waiting on me.
I think that's all I got.
I hope I didn't delete this.
Oh, there was a fail. The Florida Gator guy. Maybe we can have this on our next Florida Man
Okay.
thing. I took a picture of the guy.
Oh, poor guy. What's he doing with his hair?
Yeah. It's like a receding hairline, but he's still got like the marine cut that's like
High on top, baby.
grown out on the top. Just like straight up. It's just rough, man. I feel bad for him. Really do.
I don't know if I have a fail.
No fail?
No fail. I don't think any fails this week. I guess some of my most importants were kind of fails. Fail on Muschamp. Fail on it was a more important issues or most important of the week for the Alabama, but Pete Golding kind of got that fail too. So yeah, I don't know. I've got a couple stupidities, but I'm gonna save them for Wednesday. So you'll have to tune in for those. I'm not just gifting out stupidities.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
I like gifting them out. If you do something dumb, I'm going to call you out for it.
Fair.
Just like if I do something dumb, I hope somebody, like my wife, is usually the one that says I did something stupid.
That's great. Guys, I really appreciate y'all tuning in, even after kind of a sad week. Always appreciate y'all listening. Remember, you can get this tomorrow morning on, you can find it on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can find More Important Issues. Make sure you tune in on Wednesday night for another brand new episode. We'll be previewing Kentucky. Beer Barrel is back. Hopefully, let's try to bring that back.
Petition it?
Yeah, we don't want to.
Everybody else is making a petition.
Yeah, why not?
can't we?
Sign one more.
Yep.
Just need your name on one more.
Yep.
Make sure you check out all our great sponsors like Hound Dogs, like Tennessee Tap House and Blue Water Climate Control.
Yeah, guys, go check them out. Also, I feel like the biggest thing that Tennessee needs to do just be better. Recruit them up. Get some erasers. Get some big fellas. Get the 5 stars. I think it's going to be key to I know it's going to be tough to win those battles against Georgia, especially how Saturday turned out. But Jeremy Pruitt said in the intro, find a way.
You found a way.
There's some fighters.
We got some fighters in this room. You're damn right there are.
Guys, we're depressed, but we're getting over it.
Exactly.
We'll move on, bigger and better things. We'll win against Kentucky because they haven't beat Tennessee and Neyland since '84. So we got that to look forward to.
1784.
Yeah, we got that to look forward to. That's all we got. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.
Hold on. One thing. I'm back. One thing. I feel like that makes it seem like we have to over-exaggerate how long it's been since Kentucky's beaten Tennessee and Neyland. I shouldn't have to It's been since 1984.
Yeah.
Like, that's real. So that 1784, while it was a joke, most people are like, oh, you got to make up some absurd number. No, I don't, because it's been since 1984.
Yeah, it has.
So that's, not going to happen.
I wasn't born in '84.
I wasn't either.
My parents were 4 years old.
My parents are much older. But
6 years old. Sorry. 5 or 6, something like
you
that.
get it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to let Landon say the outro again. But you all need to understand it's been that long.
We're bringing the boat in, and we out.